Hello dear friends, I'm Samuel Moore and welcome to this week's video lesson. As many of you know, I recently published my third tutorial book, Flamenco Guitar, Compa Essentials, Bulerías. This book and the series it's part of helps you unlock the spontaneous nature of flamenco performance. You can find out more about the book, as well as audio copy, via the link in the description below. But today, I'd like to share with you a short extract from the book so you can get a better sense of what it's all about. Specifically, I'm going to show you a simple melodic phrase that can be used on beats 7, 8, 9 and 10 of Bulerías' basic compass. The phrase you're going to learn sounds like this. Here it is again, but in the context of Bulerías' basic compass. And here it is one more time, but with me counting the numbers. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Before we start talking about how to use that phrase in the context of your wider playing, let's take a moment to actually learn it in its totality. That phrase in many respects is very simple. It's all played with the thumb, rest stroke. And in terms of the left hand, we're basically putting the index finger here on the B flat so that we've got this common flamenco chord shape. What we're going to do is use the thumb of the right hand to play the open E to begin with, and then hammer on with the third finger onto G. We're then going to drag the thumb down the fifth and fourth string, so you get the B flat and the open D. Following that, you're then going to bring the pinky across to C sharp and pull off from C sharp to B flat. And then conclude by playing the open A. And you heard then, I made it staccato, so I played it and then muted it straight away. And then finally, you're just going to tap the body of the guitar with this finger. Altogether, that gives you this. Now, in terms of rhythm, that is a phrase played in straight quavers. So in other words, there are two notes to the crotchet, and we're basically starting on beat 7. So we're going 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, and then that is a staccato crotchet on 10, 10, wait for beat 11, and the tap happens on 11. 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, 11. That's the basic phrase. You can get into that in a number of ways, but a really classic way of doing it, in terms of the harmony, you've got an A chord on beats 12, 1 and 2, and then that moves to the B flat chord on beats 3, 4, 5, 6. And in terms of what we're doing with this hand, in order to make that more interesting, all we're going to do is go down and up on beats 1 through to 5, so 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you heard how I was accenting 12 and 3, the accented beats in the compass, with a golpe. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then on beat 6, we're going to do another down strike, but we're going to do it quite softly. 6. Now, I know a lot of you are saying at this point, don't we accent 6 in Bulerías? Well, you can do, but in the context of this phrase, it's a bit more difficult to get to where you need to be next if you do a really loud 6. So we're going to do a softer one. Put all that together and you get this. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there you have it, a simple Bulerías phrase. Let's just loop it a couple of times to get used to it. You're probably saying to yourself at this point, well, that's a great phrase, Samuel, but why are we learning it? Well, this goes right to the heart of one of the main chapters in my new book. I'm not going to teach you what I'm about to explain, but I want to impart to you a concept that will stand you in good stead for your wider playing when performing Bulerías. If you want the detail, that's what the book's for, but this just gives you a little overview of this important subject. When you're performing a palo like Bulerías, if you're needing to play the basic compass, a lot of people don't always know what the function of that is. The job of the basic compass in a palo like this is to essentially be the core rhythmic idea that you keep coming back to again and again in between other structural components, such as falsettas or llamadas. In this sense, the core compass idea, it's kind of the glue that binds the whole thing together. Now, you can play the basic compass of Bulerías in a number of ways, but a classic phrase a lot of people like to use sounds like this. Now, that's a really good phrase. The problem is if you only ever use that when required to play Bulerías basic compass, in other words, you just loop that again and again and again, your playing's going to get very boring and repetitive very quickly. You need variety. That's where phrases like the one you learnt a moment ago for beats 7, 8, 9 and 10 come in. Essentially, you can cut and paste phrases like that into the basic compass of Bulerías to add more interest to your playing. To demonstrate this, I'm going to play 2 cycles of Bulerías compass. The first time, I'm going to play the simple one I played a moment ago, but the second time I'm going to cut and paste the 7, 8, 9, 10 phrase you learned at the start of this video to add more interest to the playing. Here we go. You can see straight away how the playing is sounding more interesting and sophisticated. Now imagine this. Imagine you don't just have one variation for beats 7, 8, 9 and 10 of the Bulerías basic compass. Imagine you have many. You know what, let's take the thought experiment a step further. Imagine you have multiple variations for many different parts of Bulerías basic compass and are able to use them at will when you're performing. Imagine how interesting and sophisticated and varied your compass playing for Bulería would sound. That, in a nutshell, is one of the main chapters of my new book. In it, you will explore how to learn lots of different ideas like this and work them into your Bulerías compass playing and use them in a spontaneous manner. It then takes everything a step further. Not only will you learn how to do that, but you'll also learn how to integrate those with other structural components, such as falsettas and llamadas, so that by the end of the book, you're able to improvise your own Bulerías solo. If all this sounds good to you, I warmly invite you to follow the link in the description below and treat yourself to a copy of my new book today. I look forward to seeing you in the first chapter, but for now, I leave what you've just learnt in your capable hands.